Jake Paul's California mansion has been raided by the FBI, multiple news organizations report. You can see in this aerial footage agents in uniform outside his home in Calabasas.
You know what's funny about your brother? Your brother talks more shit than anybody else on the planet. They're trying to sue people when people talk shit. There's people out there saying they're fake fights, they're fixed.
You know, for me, in my opinion, I think it's scripted a little bit because, you know, of the weight difference, and, you know, Joshua's a former, you know, champion. And also, you know, he's current, he's active.
That was not a boxing match. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this contest. And then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again.
Paul is once again caught in the middle of controversy, facing claims that could seriously threaten his future in boxing. New allegations spreading online suggest that some of his most talked about matches, including the widely viewed Netflix fight against Anthony Joshua, were supposedly choreographed in advance. Rumors have escalated so far that parts of social media are even speculating about possible arrests involving Paul and his brother. Industry insiders, promoters, and athletic officials have strongly pushed back on these claims, emphasizing that manipulating professional fights would carry severe legal consequences. Still, doubts about Paul's authenticity as a boxer are louder than ever. Given his past brushes with the law, including a high-profile FBI search of his Calabasas home, the timing couldn't be worse. As questions continue to mount and public trust wavers, many are wondering whether this controversy could finally derail Jake Paul's rapid ascent in the boxing world.
FBI agents have raided the Southern California home of YouTube star Jake Paul. Federal officials say the search was part of an investigation. Wendy Birch is in Calabasas with what we're learning tonight.
Sky 5 was overhead this morning as federal agents entered Jake Paul's Calabasas home located in this gated community off of Mulholland Highway. We counted close to 24 federal agents, some of them in tactical gear, entering the residence. Why they were here and what they were looking for, that remains unclear. The federal search warrant has been sealed and no one is offering.
Long before the recent arrest, speculation began circulating. Many within the boxing world, including analysts, retired fighters, and promoters, had already raised concerns about Jake Paul's legitimacy in the sport. Critics often point to his choice of opponents, many of whom were well past their competitive peak, along with odd fight rhythms, perfectly timed knockdowns, and rumored contract terms that may have limited what opponents could do in the ring. Taken together, skeptics argue that Paul's rapid success appears more carefully engineered than genuinely fought for.
Because I've always been curious about this, because, like, you know, you saw the Askren fight, we saw these fights that he went into. The Fury one obviously didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, just because I was so convinced that, like, Jake had these fights fixed, and there's a lot of people who talk about the fights being fixed because it's just the way it is.
Yeah, they tell me that too. They're like, tell me you're not going to take a fall against Paul. Everybody says that to me. I'm like, are you kidding me? You could have paid me on all the money in the world.
Seasoned figures within boxing have frequently noted that although Paul undeniably draws huge audiences and revenue, his fights rarely place him in truly risky or competitive situations. This pattern has led to growing suspicion that these bouts are structured to safeguard his image rather than challenge his abilities. As questions continue to accumulate, each new controversy feels less like a standalone issue and more like confirmation of a broader storyline, one suggesting that Jake Paul's boxing career has been driven by presentation, influence, and calculated control, rather than the raw uncertainty and punishment that traditionally define the sport.
Twice, if the Jake Paul fight was set up.
What happened to me is what was going to happen to him had he dropped those hands. If I say, Rampage, I'm going to pay you $2 million, right? Let this dude beat you, what you going to do? You're going to feel disrespected, number one. Right? That ain't enough money. For me to do that, I got to be willing to walk away for good. Something like 20-something million where I can invest it and fall off in the shade. Because
the highly publicized matchup between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul previously captured widespread attention due to its intensity and theatrical buildup. Online speculation surged after claims emerged about a leaked script allegedly outlining how the fight would unfold. The rumors intensified when supposed audio clips began circulating, which some viewers interpreted as evidence that key moments, including Tyson appearing to slow down before Paul's knockout victory, were deliberately planned rather than organic.
Graduate in the United States is $1.3 million. Again, that's over the course of the person's entire life. Jake Paul earned 30 times that in one night. People talk about winners and losers, like Jake Paul won.
After his win against Mike Tyson, Jake Paul shared a confident assessment of his showing inside the ring. Reflecting on the bout, he stated that he took very little damage and was never truly threatened, reinforcing his view that he controlled the fight from start to finish. Supporters embraced his comments as further evidence that he belongs in the ring, even when facing iconic names from boxing history. Detractors, however, weren't convinced. Many highlighted the absence of real tension or risk during the match, describing Tyson's effort as subdued and questioning whether the contest genuinely tested Paul's abilities or represented a balanced matchup at all.
Big as a Super Bowl. Big as a Super Bowl.
Big as the what?
Why was Mike wearing assless chaps though? In the
did that moment go viral with his cheeks out?
I don't know. It made my stomach hurt.
I was seeing it.
Why did he have underwear on?
He had a G-string on. Is what he had.
Almost.
I thought he was completely butt naked.
Nah, he looked like a stripper.
But yeah, biggest live gate, 18.1 millions in U.S. boxing history outside of Las Vegas. A phenomenal night. I'm sorry I didn't knock him out though, guys.
Shut the fuck up. It was crazy when we talked about this. I told him you're going to say some dumb shit. You did the right thing at the end.
Paul's recent matchup with Anthony Joshua has sparked similar criticism. A number of analysts and commentators have questioned the logic of the pairing, pointing to the clear gap in size, experience, and resume between the two fighters. On one side is a former YouTube star with a 12-1 record. On the other, a two-time heavyweight world champion who has spent years competing against the sport's elite. Because of that contrast, many observers have characterized the bout as heavily one-sided, with Paul viewed less as a legitimate test and more as a commercially driven opponent. These concerns have only added to the belief among critics that the event leaned more toward entertainment than true competition.
Jake Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua. Massive unit, two-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the Bois knockout when he got fucking splattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on, and then he got done. And he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it serious?
It'll be over when he wants.
At the same time, Paul is heading into the bout with a level of self-assurance that has caught the attention of even long-time observers of the sport. Recent commentary highlights his strong belief that he can meet the moment and emerge victorious. Unlike some earlier appearances, this fight appears to carry a sharper sense of purpose and commitment. Analysts following his training point to his mindset as a key factor, noting that his confidence seems rooted in both physical preparation and mental discipline. Rather than downplaying the significance of facing a former heavyweight champion, Paul appears to be leaning into the challenge, treating it as a chance to validate himself on a global stage.
He's very big. I'm here to shock the world, inspire the next generation. We're in the Heat arena. I'm a big Heat fan. Miami's on fire. This is my first pro fight, was in Miami against Gibb. I'm bringing that same energy.
Despite Paul's growing self-belief, his confidence has been met with doubt from many veteran analysts within the sport. Some critics contend that his faith in being able to compete with someone like Anthony Joshua borders on unrealistic. Joshua is a seasoned heavyweight with years of elite training, multiple championship bouts, and a proven ability to endure at the highest level, challenges Paul has not yet encountered in his career. A number of observers have also raised questions about Paul's physical development and performances, speculating about possible external factors, though no evidence has been presented to support such claims.
Jake Paul natural? No. I can say that with pretty certain confidence in that statement, mainly because, as you heard me mention, I know a lot of the people he trains with and I have heard things. Now let's give Jake the benefit of the doubt, right? He's able to restrain from the peer pressure that everyone's putting on him to hop on these certain compounds. Then that would be cool to train natural, do what he needs to do. But the thing is, his body composition has changed so much, his explosiveness, his power, and yes, that comes with training and time. But I find it very, very suspicious that for some reason, whenever a drug test gets brought up, for instance, when Fury wanted that in the contract, Jake Paul turns them down. So you should think to yourself, it's probably because he's not natural. Now I want to make it clear, I don't care whether Jake Paul is natural or not. There's so many people that aren't natural that are in combat sports. In fact, Tyron Woodley probably is also not natural. Everyone wants that little edge over their competition, and that's where drugs and anabolics come into play. There's certain compounds that are out there that just increase your explosiveness immensely, your recovery, so that you can stay in the same weight class, which is very important for combat sports, whether that's boxing, UFC, whatever type of combat sport you're doing. So that is why you guys have seen so much improvement from Jake Paul. Of course, he has a great circle around him, great trainers, great coaches, a great regimen, but definitely anabolics play a very fundamental role in that. They allow him to train as hard as he does. They allow him to increase his power and speed. And of course, when you think of those concepts, that's essentially the recipe to...
Even with all the surrounding drama, many people are still placing serious bets on this matchup. The betting activity has turned into a controversy of its own around the Paul versus Joshua fight. Fans, casual gamblers, and even a few high-profile figures have been putting money on different outcomes, further intensifying the discussion about whether this is a genuine competition or simply a staged spectacle.
So do you think it's going to be real, this fight? Do you think it's actually... So you think that Jake Paul...
You couldn't fake it. You really think Anthony Joshua's going to put his whole livelihood on the line for Jake Paul?
No, I don't think he would.
So there you go. It's over when he wants it to be over.
There could be some kind of tacit agreement in the background.
How?
Where they have a handshake.
Then that's illegal. You're going to jail.
Exactly, it's illegal. That's what I was going to say.
So you can't.
Because it's not an exhibition.
No, it's a fight.
So we're
and people are betting on it. Big amounts of money.
So we're watching this. I'm flying out there next week to Miami to watch it. So I'm going out there. He's laughing. I'm getting some on. So it's all good. But it's like Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua, 6 foot, what's he, 6'6"?
About that.
Fucking, what's he, 16, what's 245 pounds?
He can't be a pound over 245,
what's
so...
that in stone?
The best part, just on 17 stone or just under.
So, Jake lost to Tommy Fury, and that's the one everyone keeps on. Do you think he's improved much since Tommy Fury?
Yeah, but do I think he's improved enough to be competitive? Unless I close my eyes and Josh is completely shot to bits, no.
Yeah, and so is the potential that Jake Paul, like, I know you keep saying no, I know you're right, but is there a world in which you see Jake Paul?
As rumors of a leaked script spread, several fighters who had shared the ring with Jake Paul found themselves under criticism, with some claiming they had damaged their reputations. Fans began to speculate that Tyson had sold out to Paul, arguing that taking part in what many viewed as a scripted bout undermined his legendary status and long-standing legacy.
Versus Paul script was fully leaked all the way down to the bow Jake did in round 8. This profile on X posted it anonymously one day before the fight, explaining everything before deleting it today. A fake script has been going around that said Mike Tyson will get KO'd in round 5, but that one was clearly not real or an older script. This will give you goosebumps. I'm just going to read you parts, but if you want to see the full script, I'll show you it at the end. Round 1, opening bell rings and Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, but slower than his prime. Round 2, Tyson comes alive, but his breathing grows heavier. Round 3, Paul gains confidence and lands a sharp right that stuns Tyson. That's exactly what happened. Then round 4 and 5, the fatigue sets in strong for Tyson and Jake is landing a bunch of hits. Round 6, Jake showboats, which is the tongue thing he did here. Then on round 7, Jake plays it safe to not KO Mike. And round 8 wins by decision and bows at the end. This is crazy. Subscribe if you want to read it yourself.
Some viewers pointed out unusual moments during Jake Paul's fights, including claims that Tyson was seen quietly advising Paul and that referees appeared to gesture for Paul to steer clear of certain techniques. These incidents only strengthened suspicions that the matches were choreographed. However, the CEO of Matchroom Boxing has firmly rejected any claims that a Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua bout would be scripted or fixed. Eddie Hearn has emphasized that, if it takes place, the fight would be a legitimate professional contest governed by Queensberry rules, not an exhibition or a pre-planned performance, directly countering the rumors of scripting.
Versus Mike Tyson was 100% scripted. Mike Tyson repeatedly bit his boxing glove throughout the fight. When fights are scripted, fighters do weird gestures to signal that they're hurt. It's very possible Mike Tyson was biting on his glove to tell Jake Paul to calm down. Now, if that's not enough proof that this fight was scripted, in the middle of the fight, Mike Tyson is literally talking to Jake Paul while they are clinching. And in the middle of the fight, the referee told Jake Paul to stop measuring. For those of you who don't know, No, in boxing terms, measuring means that you're setting up for a knockout by seeing how far your opponent is with jab. The referee literally told Jake Paul to stop measuring, and before the fight, we see Mike Tyson and Jake Paul whispering stuff to each other. Mike Tyson biting on his gloves, whispering secrets to Jake Paul in the middle of the fight, and the referee literally telling Jake Paul to stop measuring during the fight. That should be.
Frank Smith has reignited debate surrounding a potential Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul matchup, suggesting the event would prioritize spectacle over genuine competition. According to Smith, the fight is being positioned as entertainment rather than a true measure of boxing skill, crafted to generate buzz and revenue instead of preserving the sport's competitive standards. By labeling it as serious entertainment, he questioned how authentic or hard-fought the contest would actually be. Smith also shared that he still believes a showdown between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua could eventually happen. He described it as the biggest fight available in boxing and expressed hope that the long-anticipated clash might finally take place by 2026. However, he added a note of caution, pointing out that boxing is often driven by hype and negotiations, and many proposed matchups never move beyond discussion due to ongoing logistical and contractual challenges.
People who say Anthony is ruining his legacy just by taking this fight. Fans don't respect what he's done in the sport already. He's an Olympic gold medalist, two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. I sort of sympathize with him because I feel like if he doesn't beat him quicker than he beat Francis, people are just going to write it off. I'll ask you bluntly, have there been any discussions about there's an agreement, there's a secret contract? Have any of those discussions happened regarding this fight? It's an 8-round professional fight. AJ wouldn't have taken it if that was the stance it had to be, if it was an exhibition, if it was you've got to hold him up for 8 rounds. It wouldn't suit Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is going in there to knock out Jake Paul.
Sorry, just to silence all the doubters here. You know, a lot of people saying this can't be real. You know, Anthony Joshua going in there, it must be an exhibition, or Anthony Joshua's going to it's going to be choreographed and Anthony's going to carry him through a couple of rounds. I know Anthony Joshua. Just to silence all those doubters, he's going to go in there to do a job, right?
It's 100% real. It's 100% real. People asking why is it 8 rounds, not 10? Because I don't think it goes past the first round. So it's, you know, regardless, it's quite irrelevant. I think he steps across the ring and knocks him out, you know, but we're in for a bit of fun and everyone's going to be tuning in.
It might not be fun for Jake Paul. I mean, it's serious entertainment, is it?
Yeah, 100%. You know, look, I agree with you. I accept Jake Paul is absolutely mental for doing this, and I don't think he quite realizes. I think he's got people around him who actually are saying, you know, Anthony Joshua's chinny. He said it in interviews. It's quite wild, but you know, if that's the world he wants to live in, he'll find out on December 19th.
And Frank, to finish with, the plan is still sometime in 2026, AJ against Tyson Fury, and Turki Al-Sheikh's working on that, is he?
That's the fight we want to make. That's the fight we want to see. Look, we're all guilty of doing a lot of talking over the years and that not happening. So I don't want to talk too much, but that is definitely what we want to see in 2026. It's one of the biggest fights in the sport, and I'm very hopeful.
Anthony Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn has also responded directly to claims that the fight would be scripted, though his remarks have sparked debate of their own. Hearn sarcastically suggested that the only script involved was Joshua's intention to finish Paul as quickly as possible. He later explained that the comment was meant to emphasize the fight's legitimacy and push back against the idea of a predetermined result. Still, the fact that such claims needed to be addressed publicly highlights just how widely the speculation has spread among fans and across media outlets.
People can't speak, yeah, but it's obviously scripted, isn't it? I'm like, no. 1, that's illegal. I mean, this is a professional contest. 2, we would never sign up to anything that's going to make AJ look bad or devalue him, lose rounds, go loads of rounds.
Do you think there's any world in which AJ pulls back, though?
No, absolutely. He couldn't do that as a fighter. He would be incapable of going in there and holding back. I mean, I think the only thing that's a bit harsh is if Anthony Joshua doesn't knock him out in the first round, he should be ashamed of himself. Like, fine, give us 2, or 3. Because if Jake does move, he can look after himself. It's not like he's just going to get one shot round the arm and...
This marked the closing chapter of Jake Paul's run, or is it simply another controversy he'll manage to outlast? Share your opinion in the comments and join the conversation below.